And I made the choice to stay there and listen as they brought in a man from the state office, and he began to teach us these things. He said, what we're going to look for is how to train pastors in dealing with the individualist mentality that takes place in a community, especially farm and rural communities. He goes, the cowboy mentality. And I was shocked that he would say that to us. And someone said, what do you mean a cowboy mentality? He goes, the one that says this is my land, not yours? This is my property, not yours? And I'm going, yeah, I understand that thought. And he said, we want you pastors to quell that mentality because we're going to need that to carry through with our plans for disaster relief. In the event of bioterrorism, in our area we're looking at cattle, cows, dairy cows, chickens, I guess, and lamb, and sheep, and we're looking at crops. And they said, the terrorists come to this county, and I'm laughing going, why would they come to our county, for goodness sakes? We have 13,000 people in the largest town, 44,000 in the whole county, and nobody cares because half the people work at Honda. They don't care about anything else. That's the way life is where we live. So I'm sitting there listening to this terrible thing, what they want to do, and he keeps going and going and saying, you pastors are the ones who can get your churches ready for any kind of thing that happens, like a quarantine. And I'm going, writing this down because he's not giving any print information, writing it down. In the event of a disaster, a tornado, a flood, and I'm going, well, I understand we need training for that. We need to have plans for that. He goes, and the event in a declared emergency, like martial law. And it didn't get this quiet at the meeting. I said, what do you mean martial law? He goes, well, we had this test in Iowa a few years back, and we found out the problem was at the local level. We got no cooperation from the farmers who wanted to give up their crops and their land and their animals. He goes, and for crying out loud, it was just a drill, and they wouldn't give them up. What are they going to do when it's the real thing? Come on, you guys know what I'm like at that meeting. I'm sitting there going, is this guy for real? Is he ridiculous? Is he nuts? What's he doing coming here telling us that? Then he tells us he's from a rural community in Ohio, and he is. And he said, this is what we have to do. We have to get you pastors to get your churches prepared for something like that, something like a bioterrorism attack, a flood, a tornado, where people will have to be quarantined or relocated. And so, by the way, we use different terminology. We don't use the term relocation center because that's gone by the wayside. People don't like it. We call them community health centers. I said, well, that's great. One of the ladies of the meeting said, yeah, we don't like to use quarantine. Are you ready for this? You write this one down. This is the perfect in some type of new language. When I was on the left, I thought I heard the stuff from them. These guys are terrific. Social distancing. That's a quarantine. Social distancing. Don't you love that one? So I'm listening to this stuff and I'm going, I'm going to go nuts. I'll never get back on the air again because I'm about ready to jump up on the table. And he says, we want you pastors to begin preparing your congregations. He goes, that scripture, Romans 13, obey your government.